It was a crisp Saturday morning, the kind where the sun spills lazily over the treetops, casting long shadows across the manicured lawns of Pinewood Meadows, our little suburban haven. I was perched on my porch swing, sipping coffee, trying to make sense of a dense grant proposal on my tablet. The quiet was perfect, broken only by the faint, cheerful hum of young voices drifting from the community clubhouse 50 yards away. Troop 412, our local Girl Scout troop, was out there, their annual cookie sale in full swing. The girls, a lively mix of ages and backgrounds, included a few with disabilities who brought an extra spark of grit and joy to the group. Their table, decked out with wobbly signs and stacks of thin mints, Samoas, and deux-a-dos, was a beacon of youthful hustle. I smiled, half listening to their off-key rendition of some classic Scout tune about friendship, when a sharp, metallic crash shattered the peace. A girl's terrified yelp followed, slicing through the morning air. My head jerked up, the tablet forgotten. From my vantage point, I saw the scene unfold like a slow-motion nightmare. The troop's table lay tipped over, cookie boxes scattered across the concrete like confetti from a ruined party. Standing over the wreckage was a burly figure in a too-tight security uniform, Officer Malone, a new HOA hire I'd noticed prowling the neighborhood with an air of inflated authority. His face was twisted with petty triumph as he loomed over the girls. Ms. Carter, the troop's leader, a soft-spoken retired librarian in her 60s, stood her ground, her voice steady but trembling as she tried to shield the scouts. The girls, ages 7 to 12, clung to each other, their faces a mix of fear and confusion. Little Sophie, a fierce 8-year-old who gated the world with brightly decorated crutches, was sobbing, her shoulders shaking. I told you, no soliciting without a notarized permit from the HOA office, filed 30 days in advance. Malone bellowed, his voice echoing across the cul-de-sac, drawing curious neighbors to their doorways. He kicked a pile of cookies, sneering. This mess is an eyesore. It violates our community standards. Pack it up, or I'm writing you up for illegal vending. My blood ran cold, then boiled. I was on my feet before I knew it, the tablet clattering onto the swing. An email pinged some urgent policy update from work, but it could wait. This wasn't just an overzealous guard throwing his weight around. This was a grown man bullying kids who were doing nothing but selling cookies to fund a camping trip or a project for the local shelter. And me? I'm Dr. Clara Bennett, Director of National Youth Programs, a job that puts me at the helm of advocacy for groups like the Girl Scouts across the country. To my neighbors, I'm just Clara, the quiet policy wonk from Unit 7C. Malone had no idea who he was dealing with, and that was about to change. Ms. Carter held up a crumpled email, her voice firm. We have permission, officer. This is from Mrs. Langley, the HOA president, approvying our booth for the whole weekend. Malone didn't even glance at it. Doesn't matter what some old email says. I'm in charge today, and I say you're a nuisance. This is an exclusive community, not a flea market. His eyes lingered on Ava, a 10-year-old who zipped around in a custom wheelchair and happened to be the troop's top seller 2 years running. His sneer carried a sickening edge, a jab at her disability. Some residents, he added, loud enough for all to hear, have complained about the element you're attracting. That did it. My professional cool, the one I lean on for high-stakes meetings in D.C., cracked. I marched toward the chaos, my mind racing with strategies, my DOJ business card burning a hole in my pocket. Neighbors were gathering now, their faces a mix of concern and hesitation. Nobody messes with the HOA around here. What's the problem, officer? I asked, my voice calm but sharp as I reached the scene. Malone turned, sizing me up with a scowl. Stay out of this, ma'am. Official HOA business. Nothing for you to worry about. These are children. I shot back, locking eyes with him. Girl Scouts, fundraising for their troop with full HOA approval. They do this every year right here. Ms. Carter, who knew me as the busy mom who does important stuff in D.C., gave me a grateful nod. Malone puffed out his chest, undeterred. Permission can be revoked if they're causing a disturbance. This setup, he waved at the rec table, is an embarrassment, unprofessional. untidy. Then, his voice dripping venom, he gestured at Sophie, still struggling with her crutches. And frankly, some of these girls shouldn't be out here bothering people. Miss Carter gasped. How dare you speak about these children like that? They're valued members of our community. Malone's face reddened, veins bulging. They're breaking rules, and I'm enforcing them. Then he crossed a line no one could ignore. Striding forward, he kicked a stack of thin mints, sending boxes skidding. When tiny Emma, a sweet 9-year-old with Down syndrome, reached for one near his foot, he shoved her arm away, barking, "Leave it! It's EVY Denke of your illegal operation." Emma stumbled, tears brimming in her wide eyes. That was the moment. This wasn't about rules anymore. This was assault, intimidation, a grown man terrorizing kids. I stepped between Malone and the girls, my voice low and lethal. "Officer Malone, my name is Dr. Clara Bennett, Director of National Youth Programs, a federal agency in Washington, D.C. My office oversees groups like the Girl Scouts of the USA. Your actions intimidating these children, destroying their property, and show VYing a minor are not only a betrayal of this community, but potential violations of federal laws protecting youth organizations, especially when targeting disabled indie VY duels. Cease your actions now, or I'll contact the DOJ CI VYL Rights DVY Shaun, with whom I work closely." The air shifted. Malone's bravado crumbled, his jaw dropping, his face paling to a sickly gray. The neighbors stared, piecing it together. Miss Carter's eyes widened with something like awe. The weight of federal agency and DOJ hit like a thunderclap. Who are you?" Malone stammered, his voice a shadow of its former boom. "Dr. Clara Bennett," I repeated, unflinching. "And you just committed assault, property destruction, and possible ADA violations. Choose your next move carefully." He stepped back, eyes darting nervously. "Look, maybe there's a misunderstanding. I was just enforcing HOA rules." Things got heated. I snapped. "You flipped a table. You kicked their cookies. You shoved a child. That's not heated. That's thuggery. And it happened to an organization I'm sworn to protect." My phone buzzed, a call from my chief of staff, Liam Hayes. I answered on speaker, eyes fixed on Malone. "Dr. Bennett, Liam here. Confirming your alert. Is the situation with Troop 412 still critical?" "It is," I said. "Proceed with Protocol Alpha. Contact the DOJ CI VYL Rights DVY Shaun about potential ADA violations and assault on minors. Call the Girl Scouts USA though Troop 412 is under physical threat by HOA security during an approved fundraiser, with disabled members targeted." And Liam, draft a national press release. "Disabled Girl Scouts brutalized by HOA security during cookie sale. National Youth Director witnesses attack. Highlight the federal violations." Malone looked like he might faint. The neighbors gasped. Miss Carter's jaw dropped. Then Mrs. Langley, the HOA president, swept in, her face a mask of irritation. "What is this nonsense, Malone?" she demanded. I turned to her, voice ringing. "Your officer assaulted Troop 412, destroyed their materials, and targeted disabled children. As Director of National Youth Programs, I've already contacted the DOJ and Girl Scout leadership. I hope you have good lawyers." Her composure cracked. "But you're just Clara from Unit 7C. The police arrived moments later, sirens blaring, taking statements with grim professionalism. The fallout was swift. Cell phone footage from a scout went viral, paired with my office's press release. The story disabled Girl Scouts attacked by an arrogant HOA guard ignited a firestorm. National news pounced. Girl Scouts USA condemned the HOA. Disability advocates demanded investigations. The HOA's phones rang off the hook with furious calls. Malone was fired, then charged with federal CI VYL rights violations and assault. He pleaded guilty, earning prison time and a lifetime ban from security work. His employer, a security firm, collapsed under fines and lawsuits. The DOJ probed the HOA, uncovering a toxic culture of neglect and prejudice. Emails showed Malone's shoddy hiring and Mrs. Langley's own biases against certain residents. The HOA was dismantled by court order, its assets handed to a federal receiver. The real VY Tory was bigger. Sophie's Law, named for the crying girl on crutches, sailed through Congress, shielding youth groups from HOA overreach, mandating security training, and boosting penalties for discrimination. My office launched a grant program for inclusive youth initiatives. Troop 412, they became national heroes. Donations poured in, funding projects, scholarships, and a DC trip to meet lawmakers. Sophie and Ava turned into poised advocates, speaking at conferences. A year later, watching Troop 412 lead our town's 4th of July parade, their banners high, their laughter bold, I felt it deep in my bones. Every fight was worth it. Pinewood Meadows, free of its petty HOA, found a new unity, messy but real, rooted in kindness and respect. Justice tasted as sweet as a Thin Mint. So what do you think? Was Malone just a bad apple? Or did the HOA's culture make this INEVY table? Should HOAs have this much power over communities? And what about Sophie's Law? Does it go far enough? Or do we need tougher rules to protect kids? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button if this story fired you up, and subscribe for more real-life dramas that spark change.